Hey everyone. Globe and Mail article we're going to be touching down on once again. Wow. I mean, and even the contributor here. Hey, listen. I don't know what the underlying intention of this person is because I don't know him personally. But as soon as you hear these kind of words, because you, first of all, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to understand what human rights truly entail. The difference between negative and positive rights. Negative rights is you are free from force and coercion and theft. Those are proper rights. Those are ethical and moral rights. As soon as you try to turn those rights into a positive aspect where you have a right to enslave others, right? Free healthcare, free dental, free this, free. Anytime someone says free and they say you're entitled to something for free, well, you should know right now the bell should be already clinging and banging and going off. The alarm should be ringing loudly as possible where it's like, wait a minute, I know automatically and instinctively that this person is looking to use the forced wealth redistribution model, right? As a means to an end. This is someone that says, I want shit from other people that I feel that I am entitled to. And if it means I got to have some mystical central planning entity to use as a means to that end, I'm more than willing to do so. And this headline, well, the contributor is Abdullah Shipar. Dental care is a right, not a luxury. Right. And if you're a dentist, what they're saying, but see, that's the thing, the dentists in Canada, oh, it's okay, I get my paycheck from that fourth wealth redistribution model, so I won't speak up or oppose it. I know it's inherently moral because if it was a right and I didn't have a way to, or the government didn't have a way to force other people to pay for my services, if I had to be forced to work for free, well, I'd be outraged immediately. But like I say, look at how immoral these people are. Because the forced wealth redistribution model, socialism, forced collectivism, that pretense allows all these people to fly under that umbrella and keep their mouths shut because they benefit from it, right? Understand where morals and principles and how important that is to the foundation for freedom in any society, and that'll be your first step to making that happen, right? Abdullah Shihipar is a Toronto-based freelance writer. In university, I had just learned that my student health plan covered dental care, and so I went to the dentist's office to get a cleaning. For the first time in more than a decade, the dentist was dismayed at what he saw and lectured me about the importance of getting my teeth cleaned routinely. Visiting the dentist more often, he said, would have prevented the buildup of plaque on my teeth. Well, duh. He's right. Or there's lots of ways now. That's another thing too. The market has already given you many ways that you can actually, there's dental tools. There's all these products that dentists use. They're actually freely available on the market for the most part. Maybe not all of them yet, but that's simply because the actual free market has not expanded to that point yet. But that's a restriction that is imposed on you by governments and central planners. In the natural order of things, in the free market type of situation, that would be offered by multitudes of competitive actors, and that would not only would that drive the price down because competition has that effect, right? But it would even be offered. Somebody would come up with a better scheme. It's like, hey, wait a minute, hey, we'll offer it so you can just go and get it for yourself instead of these intermediaries, right? Anyways, let's just get past that point and continue on. I agreed with what my dentist had to say. Going to the dentist routinely probably would have improved the state of my teeth. But like 6 million fellow Canadians, I had avoided going to the dentist for a simple reason. I couldn't afford to do it. For those who don't have dental insurance, going to the dentist for a routine cleaning is a luxury. Well, why don't you have dental fucking insurance? If dental insurance is freely available, which if you're talking about anything other than government mandated insurance, means you can voluntarily, what you're saying, because you're saying you don't have it. So it's an opt-in, opt-out scenario, right? Means you have the option to do it or don't do it. The fact that you chose not to do it, that onus is on you. That responsibility is on you. And if you have to suffer as a consequence for not choosing properly, in that scenario, hey, for those who don't have dental insurance, going to the dentist for a routine cleaning is a luxury. For large families, even the price of a simple procedure can start to add up. Well, that's only because there's no free market. In a free market scenario, the prices wouldn't be as high and as ridiculous as they are, because when government has the ability to mandate and give accreditation to certain people, well, yeah, you've created the monopoly, right? Once you create the monopoly, of course prices are going to be up, because you have no other place to turn. When someone else, central planners, get to dictate the terms and the prices of a service or a product, like, where the holy shit, this person is telling me that you lack so much as far as economic common sense and intellect, that why would anyone want to? Well, I get it. The Globe, like, it's the Globe Mail, right? Socialist Central, one of them at least. So they want to put forth, present that kind of dialogue narrative without them having to be the one to do as such. They'll hide the back, right, in the corners. The editors are all, or the producers of this content, or not necessarily the producers, but the ones that put forth this content in their media outlets, yeah, they want to hide in the back corners, because they know damn well if they put forth, present that kind of dialogue or narrative, like if the editorial board put forth, be like, oh, you're all a bunch of socialists, right? No, they like to lurk in the dark corners instead. And I mean, I don't have any dental. I mean, I would love, hey, don't get me wrong, but I've had to pay for all that stuff my whole life. I don't mind, though. I mean, even though I could take advantage and, hey, could go on welfare. There's lots of ways you can get your free dental, but I don't want to participate in that race to the bottom. I know how detrimental it can be, not just to me and my family, but for the general society at large. Treatment is only sought when it is absolutely necessary, and even then, people go to great lengths to get the best price available. Well, yeah, and in a free market environment, if that existed, right, you would have that option. And maybe if the ones that were offering it super, super cheap and a price that was way affordable for you, maybe you would have inferior services. And you would be like, okay, I get why things are, But at least in the free market arena, you would have that option, right? If you wanted to get, just like in any service, yeah, you can get stuff cheaper, right? I can go to the dollar store and buy a set of headphones for like $3. Doesn't mean they're going to be of the same quality of one that costs $30, right? Or $50 or $100. That's the beauty of the free market. Hey, you get what you pay for. This is what Melissa Lopez, a mother from Whitby, Ontario, did when she found out her daughter had 9 cavities a year ago. 9 cavities? Well, what the hell took you so long? I mean, even myself, even when I was at the poorest of the poor point in my life, with minimal resources and minimal income, if my kids got to the point where it was 9, well, I didn't even wait that long, right? Even a couple of my kids had a couple cavities, and especially if they started bothering them in any way, I might have to make some personal sacrifices, but I would do so for my children. And it wouldn't be a matter of, I need it done for free, otherwise I'm going to make my children suffer. Really, though? What a race to the bottom. And these are full-on participants. After consulting with one dentist, Mrs. Lopez visited another dentist's office to get a second opinion. The dentist found fewer cavities, and so she decided to get the work done there. Then, this past June, as reported by the CBC, she received a call from the Children's Aid Society advising her that she had been reported by the first dentist for possible oral neglect of her child. So, right, like, this is all about government, right, and those that participate in that, forced collective model. But hey, this lady's just proven once again, this lady's incident and her poor child, feel sorry for the child, but this whole situation, this whole incident is telling me, look at the root source of the problem. Government, central planning, monopolizing any industry. According to the Royal College of Dental Surgeons of Ontario, the dentist had to report Mrs. Lopez under the auspices of the Child and Family Services Act. Oh, sounds like government regulation, that Child and Family Services Act. Wonder how that came to fruition. Oh yeah, government, central planner, the very fucking people that use that forced wealth redistribution model that you're looking for and promoting on that in this article. Holy contradictions, right? That's what I'm here for, folks. Well, not necessarily. I mean, I do have a lot of other things that I could prioritize in my life. But when I see this stuff, I don't know what it is. My Christian upbringing, my sense of morality and passion for doing what's right. I don't know, but I just can't help but try to help others. When I hear this stuff, it's just something instinctive inside of me. I don't know. right? And I'm not looking for any authoritative power, and nobody's ever paid me a dime for anything I do. Ever. I've made 400 videos so far, haven't made one dime. Why I continue to do it? Sometimes I question that myself, but hey, I guess when you look out there on the landscape, and very few are, and because I have kids and I know they'll have kids, I guess it's for my own selfish reasons. It's for worrying about what my future generations will have to deal with, and I guess the greater society benefits as a result. While she did not have dental insurance, she ultimately was able to pay for the procedures that her daughter required. But what if she couldn't? What if another parent was unable to pay for a necessary procedure? Should they be punished for not having the means to pay for it? Hey, another thing. If the government wasn't stealing half of your fucking paycheck or half of your income, your productive wealth over the course of the year, you would have that added income to put aside. And if inflation wasn't a result of central planning, right, and this fiat currencies and all this market manipulation, you would have enough to take care of your children and yourself. It's like I said, like, stop competing in this race to the bottom. Stop listening to the rhetoric of these people. Like, you're not benefiting yourself, your children, or anyone else in your society by listening to this kind of rhetoric that's put forth and presented by these types. I mean, the Globe and Mail and these people are looking for government subsidies to pay for their income. Look at my past videos. There's a whole article where now they want to be able to use the forced wealth redistribution model to supplement the incomes of so-called journalists and newsmakers, which are just propagandists and opinion types. But, hey, or these super entitled editorial boards, but even they want to use forced wealth redistribution as a means to an end. So you really shouldn't be trusting these people, right? Oral health care is extremely important to our overall health and is therefore imperative that all problems with our teeth be taken care of. It's not just yellow teeth and plaque. Dental problems can develop into gum diseases, serious infection, and oral cancers. Some dentists, like the one Mrs. Lopez dealt with, recognize the serious nature of these issues, but go on to attribute them solely to the individual and their poor choices. The sins here lie not with the individual, but with the system. No, it is the individual ultimately, because I am an individual, right? I don't use the forced wealth redistribution model. I don't look for others to be forced to pay for even though I know the government does all these things to destroy natural incentive, and this wealth redistribution model, how much they take from my income. Listen, I'm completely cognitive and aware of all this stuff, but I still don't want to use theft as a means to an end to supplement, my own shortcomings or my own inability to hold governments to account and say, hey, get the fuck out of these kind of markets, get the hell out of dentistry completely, and I would actually be able to attain the success that you're looking for in being able to take care of my children's dental needs. Despite being recognized as a key component to healthcare, dental care is still administered as if it is unnecessary cosmetic procedure, privately funded and excluded from Medicare. Thank goodness for that, because that means the prices at least are not on a level that would be completely unsustainable, right? As long as private markets still exist, at least you have some competitive model. But think about it, that doesn't even really happen, because do you get accreditation by doing all the things that you do? You could be completely educated online by someone, but because you didn't get that education through a government, you could have been taught the exact same thing, but because it wasn't a government approved institution, you won't get accreditation. And that's the despairing discrepancy of why it is such a foolish and ridiculous and non-competitive model to monopolize any industry, especially when you're talking about economics. That's something that should be easily handled in a free market situation. This is not the case in other countries. Places like Finland and Sweden include dental care as part of the national health programs. So, oh, come on. Then fucking go live in these fucking countries. Nobody's forcing any of these people to live here. Like, I'm just going to use that same kind of narrative that fucking idiots talk about all the time. Well, if you think see how many of you will go there and use Sweden's supposed free. See how many times these dentists, or how many people these dentists will keep doing this stuff under the guise of national health care. See how much you can expand that before it collapses, just like in Venezuela, just of any of these socialist countries. See how much you can expand that before the whole model breaks down completely, right? This is fucking bullshit. These countries can do it because they have very small populations and they still retain their homogeneity to a certain degree. That's the only reason why it still happens, just like with me as a father and my family. I'll take care of my kids' needs, my kids' dental needs, and maybe their first cousins. But once you start saying that, I have to take care of my entire community, well, yeah, I'll just stop being a dentist, right? Because I just can't afford it, and I'm not a fucking slave to everybody. I'm willing to sacrifice my own economic prosperity for some people, but the minute you tell me I have to do it for everyone, yeah, you've destroyed any incentive for me to continue doing anything what I do, all right? Now, I'm not going to read any more from this article. I think I've said enough. I think I've covered it enough that you get the point. There's no such thing as free anything. Anytime any narrative says that, free this, free healthcare, free dental, free, bullshit, nothing is free unless you think these people, like dentists or doctors or nurses or lawyers or whatever the hell kind of practice you're dealing with, if you think they work for free, well, yeah, there's a lot more wrong with you than just economic ineptness, right? That nobody works for free. It's a forced wealth redistribution model. Voluntary wealth redistribution, like pooling together resources where you can opt in, opt out, I'm all for it. But as far as forcing people to have to pay in and subsidize other people, whether they want to or not, that's that race to the bottom, and you're seeing it. It's prevalent. It's all around you. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I actually love liberty.